Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Crystal. Welcome old subscribers, welcome new. If you like my channel, please press the like button. If you like it even more, please subscribe. Hi guys, and I'm going to find out what the time is. And the time is 8:21 AM on Sunday the 14th of August. And as you can see, Andrew Goyne has tweeted this morning. Andrew Goyne, 2 hours ago, no Twitter do not. They are the worst platform for allowing hate of all kinds. So she's tweeted about no Twitter do not. They are the worst platform for allowing hate of all kinds, even if it leads to someone taking their own life. Misgendering somebody on Twitter, refusing to acknowledge a man as a woman. So this is what I've woken up to this morning. Nothing else, just Andrew Goyne tweeting this. And on my video yesterday, I was talking about bullying can lead to people committing suicide. So this morning I've had that notified to me that Andrew Goyne has tweeted again. Like I said, I've tried to stop it, but it won't stop. I can't stop it. So, yesterday, my son that lives in Medway took me to the Rochester Castle grounds. But first of all, we went to Costa Coffee in Rochester, where my son kindly bought me a sausage and egg wrap and a hot latte. When my son asked for an iced latte, they told him he couldn't have any iced drinks. This is my son that lives down here. So we didn't stay in Rochester Costa Coffee. We took the coffee outside a waffle place, a nice waffle place, tables and chairs sat outside. When my son got an iced coffee, and I sat and ate my Costa and my wrap with my son on the table. The staff were very nice. They brought my son's iced latte, whatever it was, out to him. And that is when I noticed that sat next to me, well, not next to us, at the table to the right, a couple from Ines Apartments were sat there. A couple from over road from me, a male and female couple, and they both had shortish hair. And the guy looked like he came out of the 80s. He looked like one of Duran Duran in the 80s. That's what he looked like. He looked like one of Duran Duran. Obviously he wasn't, but that's what he looked like. Because they had haircuts like that in the 80s. So they stayed there long past me and my son stayed there. So we sat and drank our coffees and I ate the wrap, and there were various women going up and down in short dresses and short skirts, and they were blowing up in front of me. My son was just avidly on his phone, and I was just sat there letting my son mess around with his phone. So it was obviously like my diary. I've started writing it again. It's like what I wrote in my diary, like what they were doing opposite about a couple of months ago. The females wandering around in short skirts and then bending over and showing their knickers, so that was going on. A woman came up to me and asked me if she could have the chair by my side. So I said, yes, you can have the chair. And then one of them, somebody else, one of the staff came out and said, do you mind if I put a chair there? So it was all to do with the chair yesterday. Someone took one of the chairs to my side and asked for it. Then the staff put another chair and replaced it. So there was music. Michael Jackson was playing, and it was nice. There was a breeze to the back of me, and it was nice. So I sat down, cooled and relaxed, and it's a very nice rest actually. So me and my son, after a while, got up and we walked through to Rochester Castle grounds, which I've been there before. It's flowers and plants, and it's a nice place to sit. It's just outside, like going up to the castle, and there's toilets there as well. And there was a little shack, where they sell ice creams and drinks, etc. So my son said, "Why don't you go and get an ice cream, Mum?" So I went and got a screwball with a flake in it, which was £2.50, and my son got a bottle of water. My son was not feeling very well. He had a headache, and last night he told me that he had to go to bed. He felt very sick and his head hurt. Because he dropped me off and he drove straight home. He wasn't very well at all. He said he went home and he went straight to sleep. He felt ill. So took some photos and that. I spent some time around there, and then, like I said, my son drove me back home. So later on in the day, my neighbour upstairs was not in. He was not in. He wasn't in for the most of the day yesterday. He came home quite late. I ended up going to the co-op last night after 8 o'clock. It was getting more on for 9 o'clock in the evening. It was about 8:45 in the evening that I went to the co-op Rochester Riverside last night. Didn't have much money, and I didn't have that much food. My son gave me a bit of money to spend. So I ate yesterday. My son bought me a sausage and egg wrap, and he said something nice. He said, "Mum, I'd rather I went without than you did." That's what my son said to me, the one in Medway. He said, "I'd rather I went without than you did." So basically in the co-op I got some Warburton's bread, because if you haven't got a lot of big food, you can make sandwiches, egg sandwiches, ham sandwiches, and even just toast. So you've got bread there. So I got some reduced sausage rolls last night. I've got some chocolate trifles. Some bananas, and I got 6 angel cakes. I wanted to get some water, but they didn't. You see, the time I went into the co-op, things have run out, so there wasn't bottles of mineral waters in packages. There was just single bottles, and the cheapest bottles was Evian, big bottles, in a block of 4, and they cost £5 a packet, and I didn't have that much money. So I left the flats as my neighbour was coming out of his Ford Mondeo with his dark-haired son. So I was going up to the co-op as he was coming into the flats yesterday. I didn't find going in the co-op a pleasant experience. There was a couple of women behind me, and one was buying bottles of wine and going "darling" behind my back, and when a certain person texts me, they either call me darling, or some babe is another one. They call me babe and darling, and she wasn't directing it at me. She was with her girly mates, and they had all bottles of wine, and they were all giggling together, and I felt a bit awkward, and I didn't like it, to be honest. The reason I went to the counter to let them chap serve me was because I was buying a 6 pint of milk, and I could have done with some help with my bags, but he just put the bags on the counter all scrunched up. Then these women came behind me and I had to put my stuff in the bag while they were all behind my back. So I didn't like, it wasn't a nice experience. I wanted to get out there of there as soon as possible, to be honest. I got out there and I realised I forgot my face lolly. I wanted to have a face lolly. So I went out and got that for the second time later on in the evening, a face lolly. And oh, of course I got my Yuzu drinks, because they are now reduced to 90p again. So I got a strawberry Yuzu, a banana Yuzu, and a milk chocolate Yuzu. Right? I'd had a notification. My other son rang me. I've got 2 older sons in their 20s. The one from Gloucester very kindly phoned me and asked me if he would like to come down later on in the evening. My oldest son. I said yes if he wanted to. I mean, it's a long drive from Gloucester. It's hours, it was about 3 hours on the road, and I was obviously concerned, but he told me it's quieter and colder at night than coming down in the morning. Right? So after going to the co-op, I took Max out for a walk around the Rochester field in the dark, in the pitch black. There was one bloke on the field dressed like my neighbour upstairs, when he wore his blue navy shorts and a pink t-shirt. So I walked Max around the field, and I walked back home, and I came into my flat, and all I could hear upstairs was him coughing. Just incessantly coughing, and not just it was now I am seeing my son, okay, and I see both my sons. I'd like to see my youngest son, who is 17 soon. And I haven't seen him since he was 5. And I haven't seen my daughter either, properly, but I've seen her once in a few years. And I miss my daughter as well. So, you know, if my daughter had said to me, Mum, I want to come down and see you, you know, after 11 o'clock in the evening, I would have jumped at the chance of that as well. My daughter, she's in her 20s. So it's not that I just want to see my 2 eldest sons. I'd like to see all my kids. But I'm not able to. So can we get that straight? So I'm going to do another video in a moment. It's very hot out there. My son is in bed in a separate room to me. I've got up. I've been up early. I haven't really gone to sleep. My son and I were up talking till 4 in the morning to catch up about my father and my mum and what's going on. Right? So I'm going to do another video in a moment. See you later.